Hey everyone, I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. And today we are going to talk about this full moon lunar eclipse in Leo happening on January 21st, 2019 at 12:15 a.m. Eastern Time, or January 20th, 2019 at 9:15 p.m. Pacific Time, depending upon what time zone you are in. So that's what we're going to talk about. What I think this full moon lunar eclipse in Leo is all about really is having fun, enjoying life, taking a minute to do something that you like and enjoy that brings you pleasure. I also think this full moon lunar eclipse is about bringing some of the passion back to your life and connecting more with who you are at your core and what you really want and desire. All right, so that's where we're going today. Also, my 2019 astrological planner is now here in the flesh for you to see, touch, hold, write on. I am so excited. Finally made it. I know there's been some of you who have been asking me about my planner will ever be in print instead of just PDF, and it is finally here and available. If that is something you are interested in, you can find the link down below in my description box to this planner. What I have in here are descriptions of all of the new and full moons of 2018, as well as some of the major alignments of the year, and of course when the major planets change signs or go retrograde. So you can read more about those alignments before they even happen from my perspective to know what is coming up. I also do have discussion questions for self-reflection below each of those descriptions, not so you can just read about the astrology and think about the astrology, but so that you can actually use the astrology to manifest the things in your life that you want and create better and more positive outcomes for yourself. That's a big thing for me with astrology. I don't want to just do astrology that sounds nice. I want to do astrology that you can use. So that's what I like to think this planner is: simple and easy to use and apply to your life. It's also good for any astrology level. I try my best to speak in plain terms whenever I explain astrology to you, but I also do have a key and a cheat sheet at the very beginning so that you can learn the glyphs, learn the symbols in astrology, the aspects and the basics of interpreting some of the things that are going on. So I do have that. I also do have a monthly calendar for each month of the year in here with the major astrological alignments that are going on each day. So you can actually use this daily to see what's going on, to try to put meanings together and to track some of your progress and some of the events that go on in your life. So if that's something that you are interested in, again, it's down below in the description box. I would flip through some of the pages. It might be a little bit hard to see. The lighting's always a struggle for me here when I do my videos. Also, I am still open for readings. If you'd like to get a reading with me, I've got 1 hour and 30-minute options available. You can talk to me about what's going on in your life, your birth chart, what would be the best way to plan the next 12 months of your life as well. Would love to talk to you about some of that stuff, moving forward. And to find that, again, at the link down below in my description box. Right now, I'm currently booking for about the last week in February if you want to get some time with me. Now for your horoscope. Now what I'm going to do first is I'm going to place it on the chart just so I can show you what all's going on. What we have here is this full moon lunar eclipse. We've got the sun here in Aquarius opposite the moon here in Leo at 0 degrees. This is what makes it a full moon. A full moon is when we have the sun opposite the moon. Okay, what makes this an eclipse is that we have it right here, the moon very close to the north node and the sun very close to the south node. The closer, again, this moon is and the sun to the nodal axis, the more total the eclipse is. Okay, this one's actually pretty close, pretty total here. So that's what makes it a full moon lunar eclipse. Now, what are full moons? This is the way I like to start a lot of my videos on the moons, just so that you all can understand how to put some of these meanings together for yourself. What are full moons? Full moons are endings, completing things. But before we end and complete some things with the full moon, sometimes we have to step into something within its fullness before we can complete it and move on. What is a lunar eclipse? It's a super powered full moon. What are we ending, completing, or stepping into at this full moon lunar eclipse? Here, where the moon is, in Leo. What does Leo rule? What makes us happy? What we're passionate about? What we enjoy? Leo also rules romance. It rules kids. It rules what we feel at our core and our hearts. And so that's what we are doing at this time. We're stepping into some fun, some passion, some play, some enjoyment of life. We're stepping into our core, our heart's desires, what our heart and soul really feels. Also, Leo to me rules leadership too. So we're stepping into our leadership power and our leadership potential so that we can start to hopefully do more of the things that we enjoy. Okay, so that to me, just to make it very simple, is what this full moon lunar eclipse is all about. Doing things that we enjoy, having fun, connecting more with our heart's desires. Why is this important for us to do? To explain that, I'm going to go back a bit. What I'm going to go back a bit to is this solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse that just happened earlier this month in Capricorn. So I'm going to go there. This solar eclipse was right here, right around Saturn, about 15 degrees Capricorn. What that solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse brought for us was actually a time of a lot of hard work that we're going to have to do. Not only for the next few weeks, but maybe for the next few months, possibly even longer. Capricorn rules hard work. It does. Discipline. It brings a lot of things, a lot of responsibilities that are going to be weighing over our heads. And with this solar eclipse in Capricorn a few weeks ago, we were beginning a new cycle in our lives that was going to require us to work harder and to be more disciplined and to think more strategically than we have in years about our life and about the direction that our life is going in. Okay, this new moon solar eclipse that we had in Capricorn, because it was conjunct Saturn, especially as Saturn and Pluto are about to come into a conjunction this year, may have required us to think very seriously about where our life was going, and may also have required us or encourage us to tear down some old things in our life that we have built up, some old structures, in order to build new ones that are better for us. And that can be very heavy, and that can be very, very hard, and that can feel very, very scary and big, especially when Saturn and Pluto meet, solar eclipse in Capricorn. Okay, it's going to take a lot of work from us. And this lunar eclipse in Leo is saying, okay, I get it. I get life is going to require a lot of work. I get you have a lot of big things in front of you, big questions about your life, where your life is going, but you have to figure out how to enjoy these things. You have to figure out how to love your life, how to love the work that you do, so that the things that you are doing for the next 6 months or possibly even longer that are going to be heavy and require lots of discipline don't weigh on you, so that they don't get the best of you, so that they don't bring you down. Okay, and this lunar eclipse in Leo is saying, just because there is a lot of work that you have to do doesn't mean the work has to be bad. Doesn't mean the work has to be hard. Doesn't mean your life has to be miserable. We are not here. I don't think we're here. Maybe I'll speak from my personal opinions. I don't think we're here to have a bad life. I don't think we're here on this planet to have bad experiences, for life to be constantly hard, for life to constantly be a problem. I think we are here to learn lessons in life, definitely, but I think we're also here on this planet to enjoy life as well. And I think that is what this lunar eclipse in Leo is all about. Look, it's not about work. There may be work you have to do. There may be things in life you have to do that you don't want to do, but that you know you need to do at this point in your life, but you got to find a way to have fun with it. Also, what you need to do at this time is you have to find a way to make your peace with it, to understand why you are doing what it is that you were doing, since of course Leo rules your heart and your core. So if there is a decision that you had to make at this solar eclipse in Capricorn that you did not want to make, but that you knew that you needed to do in order to create better situations for yourself long term in the future, this lunar eclipse in Leo is saying you have to understand why you're doing it to sustain yourself through this hard time. So let me give you an example. If some of you have had to take a job that you do not want to take, because I've had some of you lately that have come to me with financial troubles. If you've had to take a job that you do not want to take just to put food on the table, it may be time at this lunar eclipse in Leo to understand why you're doing that. It's not just about having a job that you hate, talking to a boss that you hate. It's about, why are you taking this job? Are you taking this job because your family means more to you than your own comfort? Because you want your family to feel provided for? Are you taking this job because you like nice things? And even though the work sucks and the work's hard or not what you want it to be, it's providing you the ability to make and to buy those things that it is that you want. So I think it's thinking about that as well. Also, to give you another example, Two, it could be some of you are wanting to build businesses or in the process of building a business, especially with the new moon solar eclipse in Capricorn. Building this business, to give you an example, could take a lot of work, could take a lot of time. There could be a lot of moving pieces. There could be a lot weighing on you. And instead of you thinking about all the things you have to do and how you have to do them and how much work it's going to take, might serve you at this lunar eclipse in Leo to think about why you're in business in the beginning, in the first place. Why are you doing what you're doing? And to connect back to the core of your company, to the core of your desires, and then start to lead from there. I almost get the idea of like Steve Jobs speaking to Apple. I know he's no longer alive, and I don't know whether or not he actually would have said this, but I almost see Steve Jobs, considering to me Leo rules leadership, it rules the CEO of a company. So I almost see Steve Jobs, or the CEO, standing in front of his company at this lunar eclipse and saying, what do you think we do? Do you think we sell computers? Do you think we sell iPhones? You're wrong. That's not what's at the core of this business. What we sell are experiences to help people enjoy life more, to help people be happy, to help people live life better. It just so happens that we use technology to accomplish the main goal of this business that I have now set, or to accomplish the main core that's at the heart of our company. And I think that's what needs to occur at this lunar eclipse in Leo. It's not just, I got a lot of work to do and it's hard and it's going to take a lot of work and I had to sacrifice some things in order to create this down the road. It's figuring out what you need to do in order to connect more with that work that you're doing and to be happy while you are doing it. To give another example related to relationships, some of you could be going through a hard time in relationships. Maybe you are having a fight or something with your spouse or with a partner that you're trying to work through at this time. This lunar eclipse in Leo would ask you to go back to the core of why you're fighting and the core of why you are there together to begin with. Do you love each other, Leo, or do you not? And if you love each other, you should commit to working it out, solar eclipse in Capricorn. If you don't, maybe you should separate. Perhaps as well, there could be some of you that are single, want to be in a relationship, maybe as well. It would help you to go back to the core of that. What do you really want in a relationship? What's really in your heart? What does make you happy? What doesn't make you happy? What kind of partner are you looking for that really would get you? Not the kind of partner you think you should have, but going back to basics, to the kind of partner that really does resonate with you, and then starting from there and letting go of all of these other things that you think you should have or that you think a relationship should be like, and going back to, but what does your heart actually need with a partner before you move forward, and starting from there. And I think if you can do that at this full moon, not just for the day to do something you enjoy, but if you can figure out how to get in touch with what truly makes you happy and infuse it into all of the work that you do, and to start from there, to start from your core, I think that is going to help you get through this time in a much, much better way. One of the reasons why I think that's going to help you is because we are in a little bit of a tough spot astrologically at this lunar eclipse, and especially the week building up to this lunar eclipse. That's because we do have Saturn here coming into, it's actually exact at this time, in a square with Mars. So we want to build something in our lives right now. We want to create something that will last, that is good for us, that will help us be successful, that we can be respected for in some way. But with this square to Mars happening at this time, we could feel like it is hard for us to get there. We could feel like we have a huge mountain to climb, and like we're just at the bottom, and like we want to be at the top and we're not at the top, we're down here, and just frustrated and scared about the big task that's before us. We could also, with this alignment, keep trying to do stuff and realizing that the things that we're doing either aren't working or aren't yielding results as quickly as it is that we would like, and could be very, very frustrated. So what I do believe, that's why this lunar eclipse is so important, because things are moving slow at this time. Fast and slow. You know, it's like all the planets are direct now. So it's like things are moving forward, but they're not necessarily moving forward in the way that it is that we want them to move forward. And because of that, we're going to need to learn here how to connect with our core, connect with the purpose of why we're doing what we're doing and what really resonates with us, so that it can help sustain us through this time and help us create better plans moving forward. Okay, so that's what we have going on there. That could be a little bit of a challenge. On top of that, what we also have going on is Mercury here in a conjunction with Pluto and coming over the South Node in Capricorn. And this can also bring up lots of problems because I don't like Pluto. I don't really ever give that many positive interpretations about Pluto, and I do not like the South Node. So here we are trying to create and build something big in our life that will last us years after this solar eclipse in Capricorn, but it's like we're hitting a bunch of these red lights, or we're hitting like stop signs along the way. That's kind of challenging us, and we're kind of feeling frustrated. And then we get this alignment here, Mercury, Pluto, South Node, where now our mind is going, and our mind is working overtime, and our mind and even our conversations are not helping us. Because with Mercury, a lot of times in Capricorn on the South Node, we want to think we know what to do. Sometimes I feel like Mercury on the South Node in Capricorn thinks they have the answers to everything. So there could be a part of us that's like, I don't understand. I'm trying to build this thing in my life, and this is what I need to do to build it, or this is how it should work. This is, if I follow X, Y, Z, if I do this plan, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, I should get to where I need to go. And it might not be working at this time with Mercury, Pluto, the South Node. We could realize the things that we have been trying, that we have been doing, that we thought would work, all of a sudden aren't working anymore. That our idea of the way things should be or have worked in the past don't actually suit this set of circumstances that we are now coming into in the future. And I think that could also be part of it as well. We think we know what we need to do to get the results that we want, yet nothing is working. And we're spinning our wheels trying to buckle down more and more on our plan, more and more on what we know is the right way to do things. And what it's going to require you to do at this alignment is to let go of what you thought the business plan should be to get there, and what you thought the timeline should be in order to get those results, and realize that there are other forces at play other than what you can see, other than what meets the eye. Sometimes when I see so many planets in Capricorn, Mercury on the South Node, it says sometimes you need to let your idea of how you think something should be built go, so that you can take more into consideration what is actually going on in the situation. So you can take into consideration the intangibles, the things that you can't touch, but the things that you can feel, and the things that are happening as well. So that could be part of the challenge. Mercury here on the South Node and on Pluto may also bring our focus back to old things, especially with the Sun just being on the South Node too. We could want to move forward, but we could realize old things are coming up. We're having to go back to things that we did not do, or maybe did not do right, or did not do well in the past in order to make them better. So I think there could be this frustration. I'm doing everything I think I should do, everything I know how to do, yet it's not working. And when I communicate about these things to other people, they're not understanding either what I'm trying to tell them. And now I'm back at square one. I'm back at square one when I thought I was making progress. And I think the message here of this is you're going to have to go backwards to fix some things, and you're going to have to change your strategy and change your plan to not be what you think it should be, but to be what it needs to be for this set of circumstances at this point in time, which is going to be different, right, than your idea of it. Okay, and I think the reason why we're having to go back to the past at this time and feel held back and feel frustrated is so that we can strip away everything that is not working and get back to the basics. Get back to what is, Leo? The core of your business, the core of your idea, what is truly in your heart. It's not about bells and whistles at this time, especially not after a solar eclipse in Capricorn. It's not how much can you do, how fast can you do it. It's about what really, when you get rid of all the junk, when you get rid of all the excess, when you get rid of all these other voices in your head, what is the one thing that is left? What's the one thing that's left? When you're naked, when you're taking off all your clothes, who are you behind all that? And focus on that and build from there. It's not about fancy things. Gotta surprise and enchant everyone. You don't. Start with the basics, start from the core, and then choose one or two things that resonate with you there and start to build on that. And I think that's why we're having to go back to the past to kick away everything that is non-essential to our lives, to remove all of that and start to focus on the one thing that really matters and to create a life from there. And to infuse, more of what you love into your life as well. Because of this alignment also, I think I did kind of mention this, I do also want to caution you of conversations with other people going awry whenever you get Mercury here with Pluto. You could be trying to negotiate. A lot of times negotiations about relationships and money come into the picture when Mercury is in a conjunction with Pluto. You could be trying to talk to others about what you want for your life, about where you see your life going. You could be negotiating money, finances, your time, your resources with other people as well. That could also not be going right. You yourself could be trying to negotiate those things inside you, how you maneuver those things, and it could also not be working. So I want to caution you here when it comes to working with other people to be aware if conversations go awry this week, or if you yourself are frustrated about how to organize your resources. You're going to have to go back. Don't be afraid to go back to deal with those things, to cut things away that you don't need, and to be patient and to be compassionate with yourself and others so that you don't inflame situations and make them worse. Could also be a good time. That was kind of a negative interpretation, but could also be a good time too to get to the root of things. If you're having an argument with someone or something, this could be a good time to say, why are we having this argument? What is really going on beneath the surface that you are not telling me? Because when you get Pluto involved by aspect, a lot of times there are things going on subconsciously that you don't see when you're saying something that other people don't see when they're saying something to you that may need to be brought a little bit more out into the light, or at least need to be made aware of before moving forward. Okay, so just be aware of that. That could occur. Let me see what else I want to mention. Maybe I'll talk about some other things. I'll go, I'm like, do I want to talk about that? Maybe I'll go here with Venus. I'll go to a positive note for a second, because it's not all bad. I mean, this is a little bit of a challenge, this full moon lunar eclipse, because we are feeling held back, trying to get some old stuff in order before we can move on, focus on the core, and we could be feeling frustrated, but there are some good things. The good thing is going to be right here with Venus and Jupiter. This is great when it comes to relationships and when it comes to money, even though our conversations could be a problem. So could be arguments with people, I'm not gonna lie, especially people from the past, about issues related to the past. But when it comes to new relationships and new money sources, or doing things with people in new and different ways, even if you have to go back to the past to figure out how to do them new or differently, I think it's going to be positive. Venus here in Sagittarius in a conjunction with Jupiter, I think can give you lots of understanding about your relationships, about your money, about the dynamics at play there, maybe as a result of some difficult conversations. Venus in a conjunction with Jupiter can also introduce you to new people, new money sources, especially those of you who are looking for a job or need some help. It can introduce you to those new things that can help you. So things from the past may be hard for you, and I think you need to go back, but I do believe that there could be either some solutions that are new and different that you haven't thought of yet that could come up. I also do believe there could be new people and new money sources that could also come into the picture to start to help you, which I do like. Also with this alignment, you can start to feel more passionate about your life as well and about the projects you're working on, and more excited about those things too. Again, if you're not afraid to go backwards, to go forwards, and to balance that. Okay, especially with Venus and Jupiter and a trine here with Mars, I do believe, lots of action going on with people, working with people, new solutions. The only thing that could be a challenge with this very positive alignment is the fact that Venus and Jupiter are in a square currently with Neptune. So we've got new things coming into our life, into our periphery. We're sensing things are starting to get a little bit more exciting, our passion starting to come back. But this square to Neptune can make us a little bit confused, especially since this is the first time that Jupiter is going to make this square to Neptune this year, and it's going to do it a few times. So we could be confused. Something new is coming into my life, a new person, a relationship, a money source, but what does this mean? Could be hard. And not only what does this mean right now, and what does this mean about the past? So there may be the understanding about the past, but what does this mean about the future? How do I use these new resources that are now with me? How do I, shape these things? How do I work with these new people in these new situations? While Neptune and Pisces, there are some things from the past and some things inside that I still haven't worked out, or that I'm still trying to work out, or that are still kind of inside. So there could be that confusion about how to work with new resources in the right ways. And I think needing to accept new situations into your life and new people, and to be patient even if you don't know how to work them all together, even if you don't know what to do with these new resources when you have them, even if you're still dealing with some old things while some new things are coming into existence and into being. All right. So I think that's the message that I'll leave there with you. The only other thing I was going to mention, I maybe should have mentioned this a little bit earlier here too. I'll erase my chart, is this sun, right before we have this lunar eclipse, the sun was in a square with Uranus and in a sextile with Chiron. So right before this lunar eclipse, when we have this realization in our life that we need to learn how to connect more to our core in order to accomplish some big tasks, and right before we have this realization that we need to go back to the basics to pick up some things that we lost in order to move forward while doing something new, even if we don't know how to incorporate new resources into our plans, something unexpected could have just occurred a few days before this eclipse with the square to Uranus, or you could have done something unexpected as well to break free from some things that were holding you back so that you could start forward on this new journey, building your life in a new way that resonates with you more authentically, okay? I should have mentioned that there. And I really do believe with this full moon in Leo, that it's really all about going back to the basics after you've done this, after you've broken free from some things that weren't working for you to set you up for a new path, needing to go back to basics, connect with your core, be a leader, even if you have to go alone in Leo and separate from some other people that you've been working with. Time for leadership, to understand what your values are, to connect with your heart to your heart, okay, to find the enjoyment that can sustain you, and to listen to a higher sense, your higher mind, especially with all this Pluto stuff going on, instead of your fears and insecurities. Also, with the sun here hanging out in Aquarius, too, you might also need to be a little impartial as well. So if there's something that's going on that's bothering you this week, and I think with Mercury in a conjunction with Pluto, we could be very bothered this week, very bothered by everything, by lots of things. If you are feeling bothered, if you are feeling frustrated, you gotta channel the sun in Aquarius. You have to be impartial. You have to step back from the hot and heavy feelings that you have, and you have to see a third perspective, and then you have to let your heart speak and your heart come in and take over and be the leader that you need now that you've been impartial to do the things that are important to you. And I think once you can do that, silence all the other voices and listen to yourself, it's then gonna help you later on to start building the life that you need. It's then going to help you to start pacing yourself in the way that you need to pace yourself to build things so that you can start to move forward, reaching some of your goals, okay? That's perhaps another thing I want to mention too before I go. Saturn in this square with Mars, and also with Chiron about to enter Aries. Not yet, we still have some time, but with Chiron also about to enter Aries. Things are not going to go as fast as we want. That is hard when we've got a lot of planets direct in the astrology right now. I mean, we've got a solar eclipse in Capricorn. Capricorn don't like to play. Capricorn likes to make things happen. And so does Mars and Aries, which we have right now. And I think there's a lot of us that could want to force things to happen too soon. And what's going on right now is that we need to be patient and take our time. I do believe we have a big push from the astrology to make big progress, but we're not making progress in the same way that you might think you need to make progress. It's how you make the progress that's going to start to come more into focus this year. as to where last year it was hard to do anything because we had tons of planets retrograde the whole year, because we had Jupiter in Scorpio making things very deep, very intense, lots of soul searching. Even though that is gone, we have more of a direction and more stability in our life, and we're moving forward. Even though we're doing more things than we were in the past, now this year, which is unique to this year, the question becomes, how are you doing things? How are you doing it? With Capricorn squaring Aries, these signs naturally square. So whenever a planet gets into Aries, it's going to run into Saturn, it's going to run into Pluto, it's going to run into the South Node. Okay, how you do things is important, and especially with Chiron moving into Aries. Okay, I think there are some of us, well, I don't know, some of us, there may be some people at this time who think, I don't care what I do, I just need to do it, and I need to push through it, and I need to make my own will happen, and this is what I want, so I'm just going to charge forward. And I think those people are going to learn very quickly that it's not just about making your own plans manifest, it's about making your plans manifest, but with much humility, with taking other people's opinions into consideration. It's about making your plans manifest, but in the right way, with more vulnerability than you have in the past. Okay, and if those people don't realize that now, the people who are trying to force things, that it's not going to happen in the way that they want things to happen, then they're going to realize later, either in a few months or in a few years down the road, that because they pushed things too hard, too fast at this time, it didn't care about people, and didn't care about making their plans super solid, they're going to find that everything is going to fall apart. So I'm telling you right now, if you're feeling frustrated, and if you are feeling like things are taking forever, even though the passion is back, even though you want to move forward, you are fine. You are in a better place, because the people right now that are going to charge ahead without stopping, without thinking, and without being more humble and more vulnerable with what it is that they're doing are going to get checked later on down the road. And then their plans are going to fail, their relationship is going to fail if they're starting it, their business is going to fail, whatever it is it's doing, and they're going to be back to where you are now, while because you took your time now and were disciplined and were thoughtful, you're going to end up leaps and bounds ahead of them later on, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Even if they're moving ahead of you right now and winning and beating you, they're going to fall later, and then you're going to be ahead. So be patient, you're going to be okay, and you're on the right track. Now your card for this eclipse is going to be the Queen of Cups reverse. To me, what this is all about at this eclipse, not feeling that great with the Queen of Cups. To me, the cups rule our emotions. Of course, the Queen is reversed here, so not feeling that good emotionally. Emotions could be all over the place. I have to admit, with the astrology, I agree. This is not a good lunar eclipse. There are a lot of things in the astrology happening. Sun, Mercury, Pluto, South Node, Saturn square Mars, are hard. It's not good for feeling good emotionally. Okay, I think we could feel that way. I think the message of this card is to let yourself feel bad. Like, if you don't feel the way you want to feel, that's exactly where you should be. Don't stress yourself out if you're not feeling right. You're good. You're good. You're meant to feel that way right now. The next advice I can give with this as well is figuring out how to nurture yourself through this process and how to nurture others. It's not just about, well, I don't feel well, so I got to shut out my feelings and not think of my feelings and put them behind me, and I got to just get work done. This is no. If you do that, your feelings are going to get the best of you. You got to learn to listen to your feelings and try to find little ways throughout the day and throughout the week to acknowledge what you're feeling and to make yourself feel okay, so that you can then go back out and do the work that it is that you need to do. All right? You have to exercise emotional understanding of yourself and of those that are around you, to realize that there are other things in your life going on that are at play that either you can't see or other people can't see, that may demand your time and attention, that may not feel the most comfortable, and you have to find a way to feel comfortable through that process so that your emotions don't get the best of you. So that is your forecast for the full moon lunar eclipse in Leo. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this horoscope, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.